Yes, exactly. And also, people that look at the movements that will suddenly spark and take off and ignite, and they look at it and they think of it as something that was spontaneous, they're diminishing and ignoring the daily work that day after day, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, thousands and thousands of people are doing, organizing the meetings and the coalition work and organizing the protests and all of the other campaigns that lead to those sparks. And it's not as spontaneous as what they think, but you have to look below the surface, and you have to understand a bit of history, and you have to be involved, at least watching vicariously, if nothing else, the movements that are happening around you, to see that, they're, for one, interconnected, but two, that at some points they ebb and they flow and they ignite and they spark, and then, there's mass movements in the streets. But it's an ahistorical position to take, to look at those events and go, well, that was spontaneous, because no, it wasn't. It's a lot of hard work that people put into it. And the Stonewall riots are actually a good example of this, because I think that a lot of folks, when they look at it, they think, well, I mean, that was just a spontaneous fight back. Folks got tired of the BS of the gay bars getting raided by the police. And at one point, they just snapped and fought back, right? And to a certain degree, well, yeah, that's true. At some point, the contradiction, it bubbles up and it explodes, and the oppressed fight back, right? But the people that we credit to having instigated that and carried those riots through night after night for a week were actually involved in Black and brown and gay liberation movements. The people who we credit for starting Pride, for starting the Stonewall riots, were involved in those movements. These folks were organizers and agitators and educators. It's not just this spontaneous thing that erupts out of nowhere. And when we look at all of the different examples, the Montgomery bus boycotts, all of it, it's a continuation of a struggle. And when we just wrap it up as spontaneity, it diminishes and it denies the work that all of these courageous and wonderful comrades and people are putting in to make these events actually happen.